Amy from Chapcakes Decor. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to make a standard rose set. So you're going to be learning how to make a bud, a medium rose and a large rose. So this is a set that I've made previously. So each stage is going to be very similar. So I'm going to run through what you need. You're going to need a cornflower pouch. Trust me on that, you're going to need it. You're going to need a petal pad. This is a firm petal pad. It's not a soft sponge. You will need a 20 gauge piece of wire. You're going to need a stainless steel spoon, just anything from the kitchen as long as it's sturdy. A rolling pin. I won't be using mine today because off to the right I have got a KitchenAid with a pasta machine attachment, and this bad boy works wonders for me. It goes 100 miles an hour like a bat out of hell. You're going to need some edible glue and a paintbrush, some needle nose pliers and some cutters. Of course you're going to need your gum paste, a calyx cutter if you want. It's not mandatory. And most important, you're going to need 2 circles. So the circles that I've got, one is 2 centimeters and the other one is 2.5 centimeters to 3, probably 2.8. But it doesn't matter what size circles you use as long as one is a little bit bigger than the other. So to start today, we're going to make the bud. Take your piece of wire and cut 10 centimeters. And then you want to take your needle nose pliers. Just at the tip of your pliers, grab the wire about 5 millimeters from the top, and then you're going to bend and twist the wire around so that you have got a little tag hanging off it and it looks like a D. Okay, so now that you've got your little piece of wire, take your gum paste and take a ball of gum paste about 1.5 centimeters. Give it a good knead and give it a roll into a ball. Dip the tip of your wire with the D cross on it, little taggy bit, into your gum paste, tap off the excess and wipe the excess glue off on the palm of your hand, and insert the wire about 3/4 of the way in and baby pinch it to the wire at the base. As you do this, you're going to be twirling it around in your fingers and you're going to be starting to make a teardrop. Okay, now the teardrop is twisting, the wire isn't. The wire is freely turning in your fingers. You just want to make sure that the gum paste is pinched and adhesive to the wire. Hey, I got it that time. Sweet. Okay, so put this aside and let it dry overnight. Very important. If it doesn't dry overnight, it's not going to set on the wire and you're going to have it moving around when you put your petals on. It'll look like shit. So this is one that I have done earlier. It's hard as nails, so it's good to go. Moving on to the next section. First thing, we're going to do the bud. Take your gum paste and you're going to roll it 1 millimeter thick. That is my gorgeous KitchenAid. Okay. We need 5 circles of the smallest that you've got. Small circle, cut 5. And I've got a little bit of other colour gum paste in here which I'm just going to take out. Not a big deal. Keep your gum paste wrapped up in a Glad bag or Glad wrap or anything so the air doesn't get to it because it dries really quickly and you've got to work quick. Taking your cornflower pouch, I call it a bum pouch, I don't know why, my littlest one decided that it looks like a bum, and give it a good little dab. Dab your bum pouch. Now take your spoon. Hold it any way you like, but at the end of the day, the really front part of the curve, this part, is what we're going to be using. And we're not going to be putting heaps of pressure on, we're just going to be rolling it around the outside of your circle, because we just want to flatten those circles. So I'm not doing the middle, I'm doing the outside, and it's on an angle and it will give you a little ruffle. So I'm going to go slow again, just on the outside. Take your time. It'll take a little bit of practice. Okay, so as you get better at it, it'll start to look like this. Ta-da! Okay. Take your bud and wipe off the excess glue from your paintbrush and just brush. Don't put too much on. If you put too much on, your petals are going to slide off, it's going to be soggy and you're going to have to start again. Take your first petal. Now the tip of your bud is going to be about 5 millimeters or half a centimeter from the top. Okay, and then you're going to roll the left hand side over and press it down and then stop. Take another petal, lay it directly over the top so that the tips align, but this time you're going to push the right hand side. You're going to pull the petal at the back, just back slightly, and you're going to tuck the right hand side petal in underneath that first one, and then you're going to roll them shut. You're going to need a tiny little dab of edible glue just at the edges of your petals, just to make them stick, and then push the base in. Don't touch the top, just the base. So it should look like, should look like that. It does take practice. Now I'm very good at it, so I can set the petals so that you can't see the inside bud, but at the start, as you're starting to learn, you will see that inside bud. Just keep practicing. The more you make them, the better you're going to get at it, okay? And then you'll be able to change it to suit your style. Some roses, some people like the soft wave in the rose, others like that really hard curl underneath it. Whatever you like, you muck around and play with it. Okay, so now the 3 petals that we've got, we're going to draw a smile on the bottom of the petal from side to side, and that's it. We're going to take your first petal and we're going to place it, the edge of your original petals are going to place in the middle of this petal, and it's going to be about 5 mils up from the last petal. And we're going to push the left hand side down but leave the right hand side flying in the wind, flapping away, whatever. And then you're going to take your second petal and you're going to overlay the first petal by half, or overlap, whichever. And the last petal overlaps the first or the second petal, but then it tucks in under the very first petal. So pull that first petal edge back and tuck that last petal in and push your first petal back over. And then tuck the bottom parts in. And now you can start to manipulate your petals the way you like. So use your fingertips and just pull them out. I give them a little pinch on the sides, but this is purely personal preference. Okay, that's your bud. Now we're going to set that aside, let it dry for 24 hours. We're going to move on to your next size rose. Now we're going to make a medium rose. So for the medium rose, you're going to follow the instructions to make a bud, but you're not going to put a calyx on it, and it doesn't have to dry for 24 hours. So roll your gum paste out the same thickness you did previously. If you're using the pasta machine attachment, it is number 3. This time we're going to take the larger cutter and we're going to cut 4 circles and put them on our foam board. Dust your petals, and same technique, just the edges. Oh God, that's the bloody washing machine going in the background. My apologies. Just go around the edges, not the middle. You just want the edges to be thinned out and start ruffling. Just a very soft ruffle. And then continue. Okay. Now we're going to paint a smiley face on the bottom of your petal, but this time we're going to go about halfway, not even halfway, just a little bit under halfway, and we're going to draw a line all the way down the middle. Again, a smiley face and a line in the middle. Smiley face, line. Smiley face, line. Now take one of your buds that you made previously but didn't put a calyx on it. Take your first petal. Now you're going to always overlap, your first petal always overlaps the edge of a previous petal, and this is going to be 5 millimeters up from your previous lot of petals, and push it into the base. Take your second petal and overlap it. Again, follow through with the third petal, overlap. Now on your last petal, we do the exact same thing we did previously. You overlap, but you pull the first petal edge back, push the last petal in, and then secure that first petal back. Now it'll look like this. Time to get funky with your petals. Manipulate them any way you like. Jesus, that machine's noisy. And that's what it will look like. Now I'm getting better at this camera thing. Okay, so let it dry. Now we're going to make a large rose. So taking your petal pad, you need your gum paste, because by this stage it would have started to get a bit hard. Now we're going to roll our gum paste out a little bit thicker. So if you're going to be using the KitchenAid and your pasta machine attachment, it's on level 2. If you're going to be rolling it out by hand, it's about 1.5 millimeters. So you can't see my fingers through the back. Take your large cutter. Oh, bugger. Stuff that up. Wait a second. Hold up. Okay, there we go. That's the setting on number 2. So it's nearly almost 2 millimeters. It doesn't matter if it's perfect, it really doesn't matter. Okay, take your big or your large cutter, and you need to cut 5 circles. Nice clean cuts. Dust them with your pouch. This time, I'm going to fix my camera up because I can't see shit. Okay, this time we're going to do the edges, but then we're going to come in and do the middle and then move back out to the edge. We don't want the middle to be as thin as the edges, because if the middle is thin as the edges are, it's going to break and it's going to not be as stable as what it should be. So go on the outside. I've thinned them out a little bit, and then go into the middle and then push it to the outside. There you go. Perfect. Again, practice. Petals should be roughly about the same size. this one's shrunk a little bit. There we go. Same thing as we did as the previous lot of petals. You're going to paint a smiley face and then a little line down the middle. Smiley face and a line. Don't put too much gum glue on because it will not stick. Less is more. Take a medium size rose, turn it upside down. Yes, you heard me right. Okay, the first petal is going to overlap the edge of a previous petal. So it doesn't matter which one it is, but you're going to start by putting the wet part of the petal at the base and you're going to let it hang down. So looking at it from this way, you want it 1/2 centimetre over or past the original petals. Holding it upside down means that your petals aren't going to fall off because these are bigger petals and there's more of them. It's very hard to hold them all on there, so do it upside down. You will not swear, I promise. Overlap your petals, but because you're holding it upside down, you can see that the edge of your petals are in alignment. So if it's a little bit shorter, pull it down from the base. If it's a little bit higher or further out, push it back up towards the base. Keep going around until you get to your first petal. Pull your first petal edge back and insert the last petal in and then bring it back in and secure it. Now you're going to hold it upside down and you're going to push on all the base of your petals to get them to stick nicely. Now we're still not going to turn it up the other way. What we're going to do is we're going to manipulate your petals from this side. Sorry, my phone rang. Okay, so holding your rose upside down, just manipulate your petals or give them a little pinch and twirl your petal around so you could do every single petal. It helps if you hold it there for a few seconds before you move on to the next one. And do 2 laps. So that was my first lap. I'm going around and I'm just making sure that the next lap I'm holding it for a little bit longer because you're going to put a hook in the end of this wire and you're going to hang it upside down for about 60 seconds or for however long you think it needs. Okay, hook in the bottom and hang it on anything. If you don't have any racks or anything at home, best thing you could do is hang it off the rack in your oven because they're perfect. So hang it off there, don't turn your oven on by the way, hang it off there for about 60 seconds and then as you don't want to hold it there too long because what will happen is when you actually pull it up and lift it up and turn it the right way, here's my dried one, what will happen is actually your petals will start to open up a little bit more because as they're hanging down they're going to be pointing that way. But when you've got it pointing up, your petals are going to soften and open up, you know, slightly outwards, like this one. So again, it just depends which one you prefer, but let the petals sort of sag open a little bit, not too much. You just want a little bit of gravity. So once you've done that, you can actually add your calyx to it, which is just simple as roll your green gum paste out, cut the calyx, wet your calyx petals and then stab the middle of it with your wire and push it all the way down and secure it. And this is what it looks like on all of them. Okay. So that is the set of roses. Thank you very much guys for watching my tutorial today. If you have any questions, you're always welcome to email me or Facebook me. If you find that you're not very good at making them or you just don't have the time, you can always purchase them on my eBay page.